Today is Tuesday, May 13th. We're talking about a temporary truce between the U.S. and China, but why the trade war is not over just yet. Also, an emotional reunion as an American hostage was released ahead of President Trump's visit to the Middle East. And from heat to fire to floods, we'll detail the extreme weather risks many Americans are dealing with this week. Plus, a warning about potentially dangerous coolers, basketball legend Michael Jordan's new gig, and what to expect from the world's biggest film festival. Those stories and even more news coming up. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. The escalating trade war between the world's two largest economies is finally showing some signs of easing. Both the U.S. and China agreed to pause most tariffs for 90 days while continuing trade talks. Imports from China into the U.S. will now face a 30% tariff instead of 145%, whereas American products face a 10% tariff in China instead of 125%. So tariff rates are becoming close to where they were before President Trump's so-called Liberation Day last month. China also backed off other retaliatory measures, like blacklisting some American companies, and both sides claimed the development as a win. U.S. stocks surged yesterday and the dollar jumped, but what happens after this 90 days is still uncertain. So many American businesses are now rushing to get shipments from China while this trade truce lasts, and while the U.S. and China continue to negotiate. An Israeli-American hostage was reunited with his family yesterday, ending more than 18 months in captivity. Hamas agreed to free Idan Alexander after several days of talks with the U.S. that did not include Israel. The fighting still paused during the transfer, but Israeli strikes on Gaza resumed soon after, and there was no deal reached on a wider truce or other hostage releases. After being freed, Alexander was taken to an Israeli military facility and joined by his family. Emotional video shows the reunion. Other videos shared online show people dancing in the square of his hometown in New Jersey. Later, a photo was released by Israel showing Alexander holding a sign that reads, "Thank you, President Trump." Talks are set up for later this week as Trump heads to the Middle East. He's planning to stop in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Here in the U.S., refugees from Afghanistan are losing their protected status. It's a move that could lead to thousands of Afghans being deported. They were originally given temporary protected status under the Biden administration after America's withdrawal put Afghanistan back in the hands of the Taliban. But the Trump team now says conditions have since improved in Afghanistan, so Afghans no longer merit such protections in the U.S. The United Nations, though, disagrees. It says poor conditions in Afghanistan have only gotten worse in the last few years and that millions of people are struggling to survive. Under President Biden, the U.S. government noted extensive gender-based violence as well as a crackdown on religious minorities and activists. It also warned about the Taliban and other terror groups recruiting child soldiers. And some activists say Afghan allies made so many sacrifices in service of the American mission in Afghanistan that deporting them now would be a major betrayal. Many of the roughly 80,000 Afghans who came to the U.S. after the fall of Kabul have adjusted their status, either securing asylum or a special immigrant visa. But nearly 15,000 are still under that temporary protected status that's now set to end later this month. As expected, President Trump signed an executive order meant to lower the cost of prescription drugs. But it's not likely Americans will see savings right away. The order tells drug makers to lower their prices for Americans voluntarily so they line up with what other countries pay. And if they don't in 6 months, the order says there will be more action taken. Specifically, the order gives Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. the authority to propose rules and restrictions on drug companies and imports. And this is actually an order some Republicans and Democrats are supporting. But pharmaceutical companies are pushing back, calling the order a bad deal for Americans. Drug makers have long argued any threats to their profits could impact the research they do to develop new drugs. To that, Trump says it's not fair Americans have to shoulder the costs alone if people elsewhere are able to pay less. So the U.S. Health Department's top leaders will be meeting with drug company executives over the next month, hoping to make better deals. Some extreme weather conditions are impacting millions of Americans this week. For starters, the upper Midwest has been under red flag warnings. And in Minnesota, a wildfire is burning out of control in Superior National Forest about 40 miles north of Duluth, making it harder on firefighters and especially hot weather forecast. Temperatures are expected to reach record highs this week and expand. In fact, the hot weather is spreading further south today, all the way into Texas. Cities like Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio are all expected to see temperatures in the triple digits. As the week progresses, heat will build in the central and southern plains and expand throughout the southeast. But first, millions of people from the Gulf Coast to Virginia are getting heavy rain, like about 2 months' worth of rain in parts of Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. And flood advisories extend from Florida to the Carolinas. The storm system should start to move out of the U.S. tomorrow. More news ahead in just a moment, but first, a quick break to tell you about our sponsor. From my past experience with shapewear, I admit I was a bit skeptical about trying any new brands. They felt ugly, constantly rolled up, and just didn't feel worth it. But Honeylove has set the new standard, and I've been so impressed. Honeylove shapewear addresses all of my previous concerns. It never rolls up or down, it actually feels cute and comfortable on, and it supports at all the right places while letting me breathe and not feel restricted. For any special event now, whether I'm a wedding guest, event speaker, or just have a fancy night out, I turn to Honeylove. And I appreciate that Honeylove shapewear is designed for every body, providing support that feels custom made. And by the way, Honeylove is not just about shapewear. They also have incredibly comfortable and stylish leggings, bras, and more. So treat yourself to the most comfortable shapewear on earth and save 20% off site-wide at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Experience the new standard in shapewear with Honeylove. Now, back to the news. U.S. health officials are now warning seniors against getting a vaccine that was approved just about 18 months ago to prevent chikungunya. That's a virus that comes from mosquitoes and can cause a high fever, joint and muscle pain, headache, and rash. And while most cases only last a few days, it can become chronic or debilitating for some. So when the single-dose shot came out, it was recommended for U.S. adults who travel to countries where chikungunya is especially prevalent. But now, the CDC and FDA are investigating concerning side effects. A handful of people aged 65 and older got sick with heart or brain symptoms less than a week after getting the shots. So U.S. advisors are now issuing a precaution for seniors, and officials are looking into a different kind of chikungunya shot. To be continued. A variety of products have been making Americans sick or hurt. For example, the FDA says ready-to-eat food products are behind a recent listeria outbreak. They were made by Fresh and Ready Foods and sold at hospitals, hotels, convenience stores, and airports. And 10 people who ate them in California and Nevada ended up in the hospital. Many others got sick. So Fresh and Ready recalled several products. Separately, a recall involving Igloo coolers was just expanded to 1.2 million. The problem is people keep getting seriously hurt by the 90-quart flip-and-toe coolers. The toe handle can crush people's fingertips, and dozens of people have actually lost fingers because of it, broken bones, or been badly cut. The coolers were sold at Costco, Target, Dick's, Amazon, and other stores nationwide. We have information about both recalls posted in today's episode notes. Amazon has reached a new deal with FedEx just a few months after UPS decided to cut back. To be clear, the FedEx deal does not replace the one Amazon had with UPS, but FedEx will now be delivering certain large packages to Amazon customers' homes. This is the first time FedEx and Amazon have worked together since a high-profile split back in 2019. This time, they call the new deal mutually beneficial. Amazon still will be using UPS and USPS for other deliveries on top of its own logistics network that will still handle more than 2/3 of all Amazon packages. NBA legend and Hall of Famer Michael Jordan is returning to the NBA, but this time he's taking his talents to the broadcast booth. In a surprise move, Jordan will join NBC's sports coverage as a special contributor this fall. Of course, Jordan is widely considered among the greatest, if not the greatest, NBA player of all time. He led the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships. He'll now join NBC and Peacock as part of the network's 11-year agreement with the NBA to bring the league back to its airways for the first time since 2002. Jordan shared his excitement in a video message as part of the announcement. Specific details of his role have not been revealed, but this marks his first ever broadcasting position since retiring more than 20 years ago. The NBA on NBC returns this October. Separately, ahead of the NFL season, Fox will launch a new streaming service to be called Fox One. It'll include all of Fox's content across news, sports, and entertainment, and might be offered as part of a bundle with other streamers. The exact launch date and pricing of Fox One will be announced in the coming months. The world's most prestigious film festival is rolling out the red carpet this week. The Cannes Film Festival kicks off today with screenings, press conferences, and glamorous parties with big stars. And there are a lot of highly anticipated movies expected to debut, starring people like Anthony Hopkins, Angelina Jolie, Denzel Washington, Jennifer Lawrence, Bill Murray, Tom Hanks, Benicio del Toro, Joaquin Phoenix, and many more. In one highly anticipated moment, Tom Cruise will be launching the last movie of his Mission Impossible franchise. Other star actors like Scarlett Johansson, Coleman Domingo, and Kristen Stewart are trying their hands as directors with new movies of their own. And Robert De Niro will be getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. The whole thing ends with a big prize for outstanding filmmaking that last year went to the same movie that eventually won Best Picture at the Oscars, Anora. Cannes runs through May 24th. Many of the events are streaming online. And that's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, thanks to our sponsor, Skylight. Calling all families who are ready to say goodbye to sticky notes and calendar confusion. The Skylight calendar is here to keep your family organized. And oh my, I can tell you from experience, it makes all the difference. It's a Wi-Fi connected digital display that showcases your family's schedule with clarity, color, and style. You can keep it on a counter or hang it beautifully on the wall, and it makes managing events, grocery lists, meal planning, and more so much easier and more streamlined. You can even assign colors so every family member knows what they need to do, including having kids check off routines or chores in a way that makes it fun. I love that there's a free Skylight Companion app, too, so I can easily add or update everything even while on the go. Plus, your happiness is Skylight's happiness. So get this, if in 120 days you are not 100% thrilled with your purchase, you can return it for a full refund, no questions asked. And right now, Skylight is offering our listeners $30 off their 15-inch calendars by going to skylightcal.com/newsworthy. Go to skylightcal.com/newsworthy for $30 off your 15-inch calendar. That is skylightcal.com/newsworthy. Now, back to Trivia Tuesday. And today's trivia question is, what famous line from the movie Taxi Driver was not in the script? Listen again next Tuesday for the answer and explanation. As for last week's trivia question, why is Boston called Beantown? The answer is, it's in reference to Boston's famous baked beans. Beans featuring molasses for sweetness became a regional dish in the 17th century, and they became popular by the early 19th century through marketing campaigns. In fact, there was even a Boston sports team called the Bean Eaters. But you might not want to actually call it Beantown if you're in Boston. A recent survey ranked Beantown as one of the most annoying city nicknames in America. Others on the list include Hollyweird for Hollywood, Big D for Dallas, and both nicknames for San Francisco, Frisco, and San Fran. Either way, the nicknames are likely here to stay, as well as some of the most famous ones like Chicago's Windy City, New Orleans' Big Easy, Las Vegas's Sin City, and New York City's Big Apple. Thanks so much for joining us to get caught up on the news today. You can further support our work here and get access to ad-free episodes by becoming a Newsworthy Insider. You can start your free trial at thenewsworthy.com/insider. And Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to episodes of The Newsworthy ad-free in the Wondery app. We'll be back tomorrow with the latest news to know. Until then, have a great day.